Shalom, giving all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rahakwarash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations as always to the elect. And we're going to go in the news as we link the things that are happening in the planet Earth to the Holy Scriptures. Now today, I'm going to go into this article, which the priest Tazamah went into this as well. And I thought it was quite interesting, as you can see here. This is an article saying, do you know about the 3 eclipses that will combine to create a great giant A or Aleph over America? All right. And the Aleph is alluding to the first character in the Hebrew alphabet. All right. As you can see here, which it represents, all right, the head or a leader, all right. And you know, the next word in the alphabet is Ba, which is tent, you know, or the house. So Abba, father, is head of the house, which, you know, when you go into the Hebrew alphabet, it tells a story. The you know, different letters carry, you know, vibrations, and ultimately this is our culture, you see. And it's good to get into these things because, you know, it's not just like here in America, you know, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you know, then here come H, you know, going back to an old Richard Pryor skit. But ultimately, you know, there's no real meaning. When we were taught, you know, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, it wasn't, you know, associated with any substance. It didn't tie us to, you know, a culture or, you know, our power or creator. You know, when you go into the Hebrew alphabet, each of these particular words or letters, you know, have a meaning. And the head, the A, the first, you know, alphabet, you know, can also go for 1. You know, the beginning, the first. All right. And what this article is going to go into is how, all right, there are 3 eclipses coming up. All right. And what you deal with the direction and, you know, where the eclipse can be seen. It's forming an A. All right, but I'll also see a Tha, you know, which is the last Hebrew character. As you can see here, that X, okay. In some pictures, it looks like a cross. But it can be an X, you know, which ultimately, if you go here, crossed sticks, the Tha, see that? Mark, sign, monument. All right. The Tha is the first, you know, word in Tharawah, which is Torah. All right. The first 5 books. So, you know, the law in itself was the Lord's signature, you know, in making a covenant with the nation of Israel. But a monument, which we know, according to the Holy Scriptures, America, Babylon the Great, all right, will be a monument of what happens to a nation that rebels against the Heavenly Father, a monument, you know, of destruction. You know, that's how ultimately it will be eternal. It's not going to burn eternally in the sense that, you know, when this land is burned, it'll, you know, burn forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. But, you know, just as the scriptures say, Sodom and Gomorrah suffered eternal fire. That's in memory. All right. That's the memorial. All right. Tied. All right. To that rebellion. All right. And it was what? Fire. Okay. As it says in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, an unbelieving soul, all right? A pillar of salt is a monument or memory to an unbelieving soul. And ultimately, it also talks about how Sodom and Gomorrah is still burning. How is it still burning? It's burning in a sense of the legacy tied to it. That will be forever. That will be a judgment that was set by Yahweh Bashim Yahushua on earth. But anyway, I thought this was interesting as we, this could be, as we know, Yahweh Shai in the scriptures is known as the Alpha and Omega. Okay? Revelation 1:18, I am the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending, saith the Lord, which is and which was, all right, and which is to be, all right, to come, the Almighty, all right, and the Most High God, Yahweh, has no beginning. Yahweh Shai has a beginning, as he is the first spirit created by the Most High God, Yahweh. He's the Word. The beginning was the Word, all right, and he's known as the Alpha and the Omega. He's the beginning and the ending. Okay, so this is, as we look at this picture, I'll get a bigger picture of it here. Well, that's actually another one we'll deal with, but you see that, X, you see the I, this is the Alpha and the Omega, which ultimately marks the coming of Yahweh Shai. And ultimately, this place is going to be X'd out. Okay, it's going to be X'd out according to the Holy Scriptures because of this great rebellion we're witnessing. Babylon is at the forefront of the greatest rebellion that we've ever seen any nation, promote or attempt against the Most High. And when you check this video out that I was looking at earlier, a brother sent it into the chat, and I almost finished with it. But I'm going to go to this part. This is off of Brighton. Okay, it's, the Health Ranger, which is Mike Adams. He runs naturalnews.com. He does a podcast, man, and, he's a hardcore Christian, all right, but he calls out, a lot of the evils of this world, all right, and in this video, like, he's wholeheartedly cursing Babylon the Great out. He's wholeheartedly cursing out, all right, what we call the image of the beast, all of these wicked and demonic philosophies. But see, he's of the opinion America can be saved if we turn back to God. He talks about in this video how, our people made a covenant with the Lord, and he's trying to tie it to everybody in America. No, the ones who made a covenant with the Lord are the Israelites. Okay? Now, he has a zeal, but it's not according to knowledge, and he looks to be an Edomite. All right, but again, when you listen to this video, he is absolutely cursing this place out, because when you look at what we're witnessing, it's to a point where a destruction must come. All right, and we'll go back to this article dealing with this, this ah that's being formed, and it looks like a thigh as well. But Esau is the end of the world, man. And the end of Babylon is the beginning of Jacob's world. Okay? So the ah being the beginning, it can symbolize a lot, but I also see a tha. Okay? If you look hard enough, you may see another Hebrew character, but either way it goes, it's enough is enough. This place is absolutely satanic, wicked, okay? And everything that the scripture said would happen is happening. We're seeing spiritual Sodom in Egypt being set up right before our eyes. Now, check this out. This is off of Brighton. It's called Brighton News, Broadcast News, July 11th. Corporate media defends child sex, all right, this word, because this word, ironically, on YouTube, and you're looked at as crazy if you bring this word out. You see, which the scriptures, when it talks about Babylon the Great, okay, one of the things that was in her, okay, when you read about the great delicacies and riches that she had, okay, because there's this movie, okay, called Sounds of Freedom, which the dude who played, Jesus Christ in the movie Passion of Christ, I believe, he did this documentary or this movie, and it's, out in all of the sex, this word, okay, trafficking, man. And the scriptures say, by thy traffic hast thou gotten the riches. And what you're going to find out is, ultimately one of the biggest businesses amongst, all right, the elites is the, the trading of people, all right, humans. And we know, as the scriptures talks about, okay, these people are merciless murderers of children. All right, the children are a prey here in this world. Why is that? Why isn't there an outcry against children being attacked? You would think that in what is called a Christian world, you hear more people talking like what we're getting ready to listen to. But Christians have their nuts tucked, following the Israelites around, okay, with that juice inside of them, waiting on the Lord to punch their clock. Okay, that's all you need to wait. That's all you Christians, need to worry about and wait on, is when that Jew, whatever the Lord punches your clock, all right, for being so weak and timid to the point you couldn't, take a hardcore stance against them, try to insert some damn taco sauce inside of you. And then later on retract and say, well, you don't need it. And then apologize. There's particular people apologizing. Leaders are apologizing to their people, saying the unjust were right. Anyway, okay? Anyway, he did this movie, and here it is. You have, what is known as the left, CNN. They're bucking up against this movie. They're telling people not to go see it. Now, why would a people be against the exposing of children being harmed? Anyway, when you get Revelation, the 18th chapter, okay, when you read about the things that Babylon was rich in through trading with nations and people, okay, because again, what does it say in the book of Ezekiel 28? Let's get that real quick. And we'll get into the article, into the video, but you know how it be. Speaking of Esau, Edom, and spirit, Ezekiel 28:5, okay, it says, by thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches. Now, when you look up this word traffic, okay, which, ultimately what we're finding out is that these prophecies are real. These people, these Edomites, are fulfilling these prophecies. This is what they're doing on the earth. And it's being found out, and now it's being talked about. Everything that they do has been coming out, and they've been able to, wiggle away, just throwing out a mere term, conspiracy theories, which the powers that be weaponize that word, because to conspire is just two or more planning to do evil. Okay, a theory is what that is. Your theory, your perspective. Okay, your theory as to why they're doing what they're doing or what they're doing, whatever it may be. So, in its purest form, to be a conspire, a conspiracy theorist, is not wicked, but it's been demonized in this world to where Okay, the agenda on children is downplayed, but people who believe in what is called conspiracies are the worst people on the planet Earth. Anytime you're thinking and looking into things, that term can just be thrown out, all right, and things can just be swept under the rug. But see, again, as it says in the book of Micah, the 2nd chapter, you're not going to remove your neck from this judgment. Now, the word for traffic is rakala, merchandise, traffic, trade. All right. And we're going to get into some of the things that they trade and that they were able to benefit off. Okay. A trafficker. See that? A trafficker. Rahal. A trafficker. One brother who used to be a big dope dealer. Give him that Hebrew name. Recall. He used to sell dope. We go call you Recall if you finally cross over. So merchandise. Now, what we're going to do is go to Revelation 18th chapter again, and we're reading the things that they were rich in through trade. Okay? And cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil, okay? And fine flour and wheat. How do you think you have access to frankincense? Being as though it's not native, all right, to the Americas. All right, what's native here is you have copal, you have brew, which, comes from Brazil. But over here in America, there's no frankincense. All right, people may try to cultivate their own crops but it requires a particular climate. Okay. And ultimately, the way you have access to it is because they've traded. Okay. And the scriptures tell you how they trade. Okay. By sea. Okay. See if we can find that in this chapter. Or ships. Does it say ships? Hold up. Yep, Revelation 18 and 17. For in 1 hour is so great riches come to naught, and every shipmaster and the company of ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off, which America has the most imports of any country. Okay, this is how you know this is what that's talking about. And they trade by sea. But it ain't just goods and frankincense and things like that they trade. All right, what you're going to come to find out is that they trade, okay, humans. And this is from 2022, all right, leading import countries in 2022. So Babylon the Great couldn't be the Vatican. Vatican's not even in nowhere in the top. All right, this Babylon the Great, as pertaining to prophecy, okay, would ultimately get rich. The different nations would commit fornication with her, trading with her, all right, in dollars. See, selling their goods over to these consuming ass Americans. All right, because this is the great hub of witchcraft, so people have to, continuously be, pushed with all manner of just devices. But it says, and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beast. All right, they actually have animals in their possession, and sheep and horses. All right, and chariots. And I'm not talking about just having, a farm with some, hundreds of cows and cattle. No. I'm talking about owning species of particular beast and, doing all manner of evil on the left-hand side. The scriptures talks about in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, all right, that this particular nation that will rule in end-time prophecy, okay, would spoil the beast. Okay? I believe that's in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. Yep. Habakkuk 2 and 17. And the violence of Lebanon shall cover thee, and the spoil of beast. Basically, he's ruined the earth. Okay, Lebanon was known for its beautiful and glorious trees and You know, a lot of the wood that was used to build Solomon's temple came from there. Okay, so this can be, you know, like twofold, talking about what he did to the elect, but also Lebanon, which represents, that's white. All right, that means white or pure. Okay, can, you know, he ruined paradise. He ruined the Lord's footstool. Okay, the earth. He just committed violence. And the spoil of beasts, which made them afraid because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land of the city and all that dwell therein. You're being called out for these things. See, the legacy of how America was built and what it was founded upon, how it's, you know, used the Bible for, you know, a hub of witchcraft. All of these things that these devils have done, man, like if you sit back and think about it, goodness gracious, it's a lot. You see, and, you know, ultimately what we're going to get into going into this article is that this place is going to be destroyed, man. This is the most wicked place the earth has ever seen on many levels. Okay, spiritually, it's just the absolute worst and foul demonic rulership we've ever seen, man. The earth has ever seen, because of the magnitude and how far they're able to spread their evil. Behold, he transgressed by wine. But it says, in horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. See? And ultimately in this chapter, the Lord is prescribing the judgment of this place. Why is he going to judge it? Okay? Revelation 18:5, for her sins have reached unto the heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. Okay, so the chariots are scoping this place out. Ultimately, this place right here, what's going on here in this world, starting with, you know, Babylon the Great, is absolutely atrocious. So what people say about us, it don't even matter. What the evil and wickedness that's going on in this world amongst the rulers, and what's all coming out, and what's being known to be true now, because they were able to run away under that term, con theory, right? They were able to run with that term and just throw it. Oh, you know, the pizza. No, nobody. You know, y'all remember that. Okay, in particular, big names were being tied to that, and it was, you know, being outed. But, you know, for some reason they have the power to just sweep these things under the rug, and they don't become a big issue amongst the people. But we're living in a time where people are getting ready to rebel. And that's what this dude is talking about here. Like, look, so we got to stand up to this. But here it is. You have particular media, you know, figures and channels coming up against this movie. Why? Really? Very interesting. But when the dude played Jesus, okay, in that movie, he was struck by lightning when he got on the cross. And since then, that's made him a hardcore believer. And since then, he's been coming out. You know, they're not giving him roles. He's been coming out. But ultimately, if his movie is being played in theaters, okay, obviously there's an agenda. It wouldn't be planned. But at the end of the day, let's listen to a little bit of this video.
Most people on the left today, if you're still a leftist, if you're still a Democrat today, you are probably demonically possessed. If you support transgenderism of children, you are probably living with a demon in your heart, in your mind, in your consciousness. No joke. And it's time that we, the good people of our civilization, the good people who stand with America, who stand with children, who stand with God, it's time that we stood up and told the truth. That those who promote child sex trafficking, child mutilation, child murder, they are demons, they are not fully human, and they must be stopped through the rule of law. They must be arrested, they must be shut down, they must be rebuked.
And when you listen to what we're saying about prophecy, they will be arrested. Because you have to understand, these elites that's doing all of this kind of evil and wickedness, okay, they are going to escape this judgment that's coming. Okay? Revelation 6:15, and the kings of the earth and the great men and the rich men and the chief captains and the mighty men and every bondman and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. So when the destruction comes, when Yahushua returns, these elites, which already have these bunkers, and they put it out there so the Lord can let us know that this prophecy is being fulfilled. These elites are going to flee into these bunkers to survive for the purpose of what? Okay? Being imprisoned. Okay? Let's get Isaiah, the 24th chapter. Because of the evil they've done to the earth, broken the everlasting covenant, destroyed the earth, transgressed and led people into a very great rebellion against the Lord. It says this, Isaiah 24:12, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth, and they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days they shall be visited. So right here you see clearly they're going to be arrested. You see, but he's calling on the people of America. He doesn't understand, according to prophecy, that's what's going to happen to these elites anyway. But it's going to be through Yahushua that these things happen. All right? We were never prophesied to form a coup and to actually literally fight against the elite. No, that's not our job. But the Lord is going to have a lot of these Americans, especially these Edomite Americans. He's going to have a lot of them. Okay, the Christian ones, they're going to fight. They're going to rebel because they see the elite have ran off with the blessing, Amalek. You see?
Or America will face utter devastation. It's time for the Republicans in America to stop trying to appease the media. It's time to take a stand and protect children and start arresting those who are sexualizing children. Start arresting the drag queen storytime coordinators and actors. Start arresting them. Throw them in jail. Prosecute them for their crimes against children. And this needs to take place across every state where children are going to be defended against these the demonic, lunatic, child-consuming entities that now inhabit the bodies of left-wing Democrats. They are pure evil. They're serpents in human skin. Now, there will be a cost to society if we do not stop this exploitation of children. A cost so dear that America will be turned to rubble by the hand of God. God's wrath has already begun to be unleashed upon us.
Mm-hmm.
God is testing us to find out, will we defend the children against demonic evil, or will we stand back and allow it? Will we allow our churches to be overrun by serpents and demons and blue-haired, forked-tongued?
So see, amongst the Israelites, especially amongst us, we're calling these things out. But you have particulars who are just silent against these particular elite and the evils they're doing. They are more so call us the, grapists and pedos. We're the ones that get that label. Meanwhile, this is what's really happening in this world right before our very eyes. A wicked, satanic, Canaan-like, Babylon-like, Egypt-like society where children are ultimately kids. What is a kid? A kid is a baby goat. They're sacrifices, all right, over to these various different gods and idols that run this world, man. They've always required the children. See? And we're living in that same kind of society right now. Spiritual Sodom in Egypt.
And, demonic, tattooed, mutilated, self-mutilated creatures who are targeting your children. Will we allow those creatures, those entities, those sickening, demonic, pukish ogres to target our children through our churches? Well, some churches have already turned themselves over to the transgender creatures.
Yep. Yeah, the Christian church, including Vocab Malone, has been silent, on this demonic agenda. I believe Vocab got mad when they put it in the Transformer, because he's a big, he's a Transformer fan. So he's into that. So when he saw that they put the alphabet agenda in that, he did a little short. But overall, there's no cry from the Christian community. They haven't used their platforms to speak against the image of the beast. Have we? Okay, the ones who, all right, under the apostles and elders, all right, and under a great millstone, and the brothers who are in the right spirit. You see, what are we using our platforms to bring out and show you? We're crying out against these things. We're calling for the destruction of this place. This is wicked. This is no low level thing. And see, that's why, with this image, okay, Esau is the end of the world. This place is about to get X'd out. Okay, and then this could be likened unto the Lord's signature. This place is signed, sealed, delivered unto destruction. And the beginning of Jacob's world is coming. All right, that's scriptural. Okay, 2nd Esdras, the 6th chapter, in the 9th verse. I start at 7. Then answered I and said, which shall be the parting asunder of the times, or be the end of the first, or the beginning of it that followeth? See, the end of the first. The scriptures say Amalek will be the first of the nations. The first to attack us when we left Egypt, and ultimately in prophecy, as he was that heathen the Lord gave him a vision. All right, and he saw a vision of the Israelites getting the victory, and he just mentions Amalek because that was one of the nations inhabiting the Holy Land at the time before we entered in. So he's looking at all of these different nations, and ultimately he sees the future in Israel ruling over these nations. But it says Amalek will be the first of the nations. That word is Ra'ash, head, summit, chief, choicest part, priesthood. On the left-hand side, he would have his world rulership first. See, Esau is the end of the world. The beginning of the first is what? The end of the first is the end of Esau's world. The beginning of it that followed is Jacob's world. Okay? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born. So the end of the heathen rulership and the beginning of the kingdom of heaven, okay, comes through Esau. It's tied to the story of Jacob and Esau. The kingdom of heaven itself being set up on earth is tied to the story of Jacob and Esau, in which Jacob received that blessing. And his descendants have awakened in these latter days through the Holy Spirit. A work is being worked. And nobody wants to believe it, but everything that, all right, the men of the Lord are saying and speaking through the Spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua is being proven to be true. No other philosophy is speaking as the Holy Scriptures and the men of the Lord through the Holy Spirit is speaking. See? So he's breaking it down from Abraham unto Isaac and Jacob, and Esau was born unto him. Jacob's hand held first the hill of Esau, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. See? Now, going here in this article, all right, off of cgtreport.com, it says, I'm about to share something with you that is truly remarkable. The paths of the 3 eclipses will combine to form a giant Aleph over America, and hardly anyone knows about this. Of course, the Aleph is the first letter in the Hebrew alphabet. The second letter is Bet, all right? It says, and that's where you get the term alphabet, A and Ba, okay? It says, which is ultimately Aleph, Bayath. The house is the Ba, representing the house, and A representing the head, the father, the rulership, the leader. head of the house, Aleph Bath, all right? Because, family is the beginning of all civilization. Ultimately, it all begins with family, which has been ultimately trashed here in Babylon the Great. You see? So it says, but the fact is, the giant Aleph or Aleph will soon be completed over the United States. All right. Is that significant? I believe that it is, and I will explain why in this article. Okay. It says in the 21st chapter of Luke, who he calls Jesus, which is Yahweh Shai, warned us that there will be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars in the last days. All right. And I have that. Okay. Another thing that's important is those signs will be tied to here, Luke 21 and 24, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword. Speaking of 70 AD, when the Jews were kicked out of Rome and, put to death and had to flee. Okay. And shall be led away captive into all nations. Okay. Which this fulfills what was told to Solomon, that ultimately we would be removed out of the land. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, the actual Gentiles, the heathens. Yeah, Israelites became Gentiles, but the natural Gentiles are these heathen. Us learning our ways made us liken unto them. So Jerusalem will be trodden down of actual Gentiles, heathen. And who's over there in the Holy Land right now, or a portion of the Holy Land? It's not a fulfillment of all the land, because all 12 tribes will be there. They're in a region over there, all right, which ultimately they're saying is Jerusalem, but there's abominations over there. There's a Islamic mosque. So there's actual Gentiles trotting down and ruling over that land, which goes to Ezekiel, the 35th chapter. So you devils have a lot of evil and crimes built up until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled, meaning the time of the heathen rulership be fulfilled. And according to Daniel, the 7th chapter, that will come through, all right, the revival of Rome. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth, the stress of the nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. See, when we're witnessing all of these things, the stress of the nations, uproars of the people, perplexity, a lack of resources, things are going up. It's getting harder to survive and live. Men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. See, and the powers of heaven alludes to the rulership. You see? So ultimately, these signs that we're witnessing are signs that are associated with end time prophecy and the end of Esau's world. See, the Yahweh Shai's return is directly tied to the fall of Esau's world. Okay? It says, so we should be watching for these things. That's why the scriptures say, 2nd Esdras 9 and 1, and he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou know and understand that is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And we know that's going to be associated with a lot of evil going on. Okay? 2nd Esdras, the 5th chapter, in the 2nd verse, and iniquity shall be increased above that which thou seest now, or that which thou hast heard long ago. Okay? And ultimately it says, in the land that thou seest now to have root, shall thou see wasted suddenly. Okay? So there's a great hub of evil going on in this earth, and that's what's being discussed in this video. Let's listen to a little bit more.
They've signed up with Satan, in other words. Other churches are holding the line and saying, oh, hell no. But as a nation, we have to make this decision, because we are facing the total destruction of the United States of America. In fact, a friend of mine had a very important message to pass along to all of us today. One of the reasons why I decided to cover this topic. He had a vision that was divine in origin. This vision was that America would have to make a choice between Biden and Trump. And that if America chose Biden, and we're talking about the next election here, if America chose Biden or chooses Biden, and even if it's not Biden himself, it's his team, it's his, his party, the demons on the left, then America will choose to sacrifice its children to demonic monsters. And this will prove.
Which to hell with, Trump. All right. But he speaks against these things, right? Which we know ultimately he's a part of it all. The two horns like a lamb, the Democratic and Republican, the left, the right, all of that we know is used as tools to lure, to win over souls and enchantments. And, it's all theater at the end of the day. Everything that you see before you is being orchestrated as a movie by the elite, man. And it's hilarious. But Esau's through at the end of the day. You see? And ultimately, the people are so gone that with this great agenda we see against children, they're willing to ultimately get their dumbasses up and go vote for some Joe Biden if he was to run again, which to hell with voting anyway. We don't promote that. But I'm just saying, if you choose this wicked agenda, then you're ultimately you're with Satan. If you're down with Babylon anyway, but you just got some people who are simple, right? But if you like openly just choose that agenda, choose what this administration is standing for and pushing into the earth, you got demons on you. That's basically what he's saying. You got you crazy.
To God that America has broken that covenant with God that our forefathers made, and that should that occur, and this is the final decision.
And see, the forefathers that made the covenant with the Israelites, he's trying to tie that to everybody in America. Nah, nope, ain't no healing of Babylon, homie.
That God will wipe out the seed of the people that currently make up America today. They will all be destroyed. There will be plagues and there will be famine, and those who survive famine will be swallowed by the earth, and so on. All will die. On the other hand, if we choose the rejection of that insanity, if we choose Trump in this case, it looks like, and if Trump repents for his sins and his role in Operation Warp Speed, and if Trump brings us back to prayer, then Trump will have a second term, America will be saved, and God will halt his wrath that is currently being unleashed against us.
Oh, my goodness. You see? That's why, you have these dudes, they do these good documentaries, bring out these articles, but when they go into them scriptures, and, when it comes to America, because this was supposed to be Esau's inheritance. You see, and according to the scriptures, Esau's inheritance is going to be laid waste. There's no healing of Babylon. Trump ain't going to repent. Who really runs Donald Trump? Who really controls things? You think a president really controls things? So if Trump just so happens to say repent, because he is going to be used to come against the Bible. But let's just say he just so happens to say, I repent, America, turn to God, and the people turn to God. You think that's going to stop the prophecy? Which that's not going to happen. Okay. Trump is a big component, like you said, the Operation Warp Speed. You got to speed things up. He brought about a lot of laws that, led to surveillance. That dude ain't no saint. But when you look at the core of what he's talking about, if you're going to be in that arena, why wouldn't it be him? Because the media told you not to like him. Because he's disrespectful. So all those rappers you like. So all those black women that be on those reality TV shows that you watch. They not rude. The bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. That's not rude. That's your culture. Idiot. Okay? And see, when the Lord wipes out NIGG, all right, ERSs, man, that's a step towards world peace. Okay? A world without niggas, man. I cannot wait until all of our people are righteous. Niggas are not a good look. Anyway, you can listen to some more of this. But what he's basically going into is like this place.
They're pushing child mutilations, by the way, and child murder, violence against children, medical violence in some cases. They're also allowing violent offenders to be released on the streets. And they won't even lock them up if they're caught committing these various crimes. You want to talk about wrath being unleashed upon America? Anybody left living in Los Angeles must be somebody who just could not afford to flee or something. If you stay behind in Los Angeles knowing what's coming, you either have a very difficult, maybe family situation or something that requires you to be there, or you're crazy.
Hey, and the Lord is gonna deliver us, man. Okay, be still and know that He is the Lord, and the Lord will. If you have to, flee a particular place, the Lord will put the Spirit on that to happen. And brothers in other states, okay, got to be prepared through the Holy Spirit. These are the times we're coming into. Okay, you got to be prepared to take brothers in. Okay, we're gonna lose our comforts through a lot of this, but ultimately the Lord is gonna guide us through. Okay,
Los Angeles will burn. In fact, most of the Democrat cities in America will burn.
No, the whole thing is gonna burn.
They will crumble, and they will be racked by violence and suffering and death, and economic collapse, arson, lawlessness, gang rapes.
Because of what's happening in L.A. is there's this bill that was passed. All right, that people with crimes and people they letting them out of jail. Particular crimes won't be penalized. All right, they're legalizing drugs. They're setting up the perfect, order out of chaos scenario. Troops are surrounding this place. It's all kind of martial law troops preparing. Something is getting ready to go down. See? And why all of these things are happening, they're throwing all of these enchantments and perversions and demonic, stupid story with made-up celebrity people. This is literally Babylon the Great, all right? The deception is not on a surface level. It's a worldwide, like these people who rule this world, in the Lord, ultimately, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. So these things come out, all right, because his own tongue is going to fall on himself. He's a complete idiot. And the scriptures talks about the cry of Sodom, man. This is too much. Okay? It's too much. It says, in order for an eclipse to happen, both the sun and the moon must be evolved. Previously, I have explained how the Great American Eclipse of 2017 would later combine with the Great American Eclipse, all right, of 2024, all right, creates a giant X across America. The following is an excerpt from my book, 7 Years Apocalypse. So if you add up 2017, all right, to 2024, that's 7 years completion. All right. And if we're here in 2024, that other, eclipse is going to happen. All right. And that X is going to be formed across America. All right. And when you go into it, as he's going to show you, as which I believe, which he's breaking it down his way. We believe in the spirit, nothing happens by coincidence. The Lord wrote these things literally into the story so that we can see. He said there will be signs. So he would, before the foundation of the earth, the signs were already written for us to see, to strengthen our faith and to let us know what times we're in. Okay. Prophecy is, it's a heavy thing, man. It's like a compass. It gives us direction, what to look to, man. Like, this is heavy. Well, what would you say if I told you an enormous X that is in the process of being marked across the United States will be completed in the year 2024? I know that may sound strange, but stick with me and you will soon understand. On August 21st, 2017, a great American eclipse made headlines over the world. It was the very first solar eclipse since 1918. If y'all remember that was able to be seen all the way from the West Coast to the East Coast in the U.S. The path of the eclipse started in Oregon. It continued all the way across the continental United States, yada, 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 South Carolina. But what makes that eclipse unlike any other is that it will combine with another historic eclipse in 2024 to form a giant X across America, meaning this place is going to be X'd out. Okay, and an X is, like into a signature, like a signet, like a covenant, like a cutting, like your stamp. Okay, and we know according to prophecy, this place is going to be destroyed on April 8th, 2024, which is looking like we may be here, but the way that things are going is looking like it may be crazy. It may be a whole new world from what we know right now. Who knows what they're going to bring in between now and then. Another great American eclipse will make headlines all over the planet. The path of the eclipse will cross over the states of Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, and you can read these nations. All right, these not nations, these states. All right. If you plot the paths of 2017, the eclipse, and the 2024 eclipse on the same map, you can clearly see, all right, that they combine to form a massive X right over the heartland of the continental United States. The map below shows roughly what the giant X would look like. So the Lord is getting ready to destroy this place. Okay? This place is getting ready to become a desolation amongst the nations. All right? Now, as far as Canada, okay, I think, that landmass, is going to make it. Certain borders may be destroyed, but we'll see. Canada is a part of NATO, but this is Babylon the Great right here. All right. And ultimately, this place is getting ready to be X'd out by Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and it's going to be a monument, okay, a memorial, all right, of rebellion, man. And that's what this place exudes. Okay. And what's talked about in this video is just one aspect of the evils and wicked practices that are taking place here. Okay. Going back here, it says, in several of my books, I have discussed the fact that someday there will be an absolute catastrophic earthquake along the Madrid fault line. Now, when you deal with the Madrid fault line, it's prone to earthquakes, but, they're talking about at some point, all right, there's going to be a, which is in this region. Okay. One day is going to trigger, a large catastrophic event. All right. And in the scriptures, that great earthquake, let's get Revelation, the 11th chapter. In 11, after 3 days and a half, after a great fall, the spirit of life of the Most High entered into them, the Israelites, and they stood up on their feet, the remnant, and great fear fell on them which saw them, this is why things are moving. But what does that lead to? And they heard a great voice from heaven saying, "Come up hither." And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. So this great awakening is going to lead to us being beamed up and saved from our enemies. And in the same hour, at the same time we're being beamed up, all right, there was a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. All right. The 10th part of the city goes into the zip code, goes from 0 to 9. Okay. That's Babylon the Great. And they also say that there's 10 FEMA regions, but a great earthquake is going to come and destroy this place. That's the missiles. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, a complete number. And the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the God of heaven. All right. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly, which is World War III. That's going to be a synonymous with that great earthquake, because these different nations are going to shoot missiles on Babylon, but the chariots are also going to be shooting fire on Babylon the Great. You see, this place is getting ready to be X'd out, right? It says, it will be, there's going to be a great earthquake along the Madrid fault line. zone. It will be so massive it will permanently alter the geography of the United States, and it won't be anywhere around when the quake finally arrives. But now we are discovering that there is even more to the story. On October 14th, 2023, all right, it says an annual solar eclipse will cross the states from Oregon to Texas. And if you overlay the path of the annular solar eclipse on top of the paths of the Great American Eclipse of 2017 and the eclipse of 2024 to come, you will see that those three eclipses actually combine to create a giant Aleph across America. You see? And Hebrew is the language of the heavens. Okay? It says, this is what was a tweet posted by somebody. He said, I saw this and went to shivers. All right, look at that. Those are the 2017 and 2023 and the 2024 solar eclipses of the United States. That's God's signature. That's an Aleph. See? Which we know, the head, the Yahweh Shai is coming, man. And he's going to X this place out. And ultimately, that's signed, sealed, and delivered by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. You see? This place, according to the Holy Scriptures, was prescribed to be destroyed. And we're living in a time where we're witnessing a great rebellion, okay, to justify that. But it fulfills everything that this place would be prophesied to do. Okay, 2nd Esdras, the 4th chapter, in the 28th verse. But as concerning the things wherein thou askest, I will tell thee that evil was sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come. If therefore that which is sown be turned not upside down, and if the place where evil is sown pass not away, evil had to be sown. We had to witness it. But the Lord just so happened to use you Edomites to bring about, all right, this great evil and atrocity we see in the earth. But if this place that is sown with evil pass not away, then cannot it come that is sown with good. You see, for the grain of evil seed have been sown in the heart of Adam. See, it goes back to the fall of Adam. This is why we're experiencing this. See? And we're in that final captivity, all right, that stems from Solomon's sin, where the kingdom was rent and we went into these different captivities. Daniel gave us the understanding of the different captivities we'll go into before the kingdom was set up. So if that place didn't come and, rule and, do what it was prophesied to do, then cannot it come that is sown with good. So it all points to, when you look at this in the spirit, it alludes to Esau, the beginning of the kingdom of heaven and the end of Esau's world. Okay? That's what I get from it. Through the spirit. That's heavy. You see? This is clearly a sign from Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. There's nothing that's a coincidence. Even when you see a license plate with 144, the Lord wanted you to see that. When things happen in the spirit, the Lord wrote that for to happen, for you to witness it. And the Lord had this to come to the brothers because, we are hyped up. We're measuring the times diligently. Okay? It says, and how much ungodliness have the fall of Adam brought up into this time? And how much shall it yet bring forth unto the time of threshing come? For ponder now by thyself how great fruit of wickedness the grain of evil seed have brought forth. And when the ears shall be cut down and without number, how great of a floor shall there fill? So ultimately, a great destruction, a great slaughter is coming to this place. You see? and it's gonna be you're gonna deserve it. The evils that are happening in this earth, it is absolutely out of pocket. Okay. It says Aleph is the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet. The Aleph in Hebrew has a numerical value of 1. The Aleph also represents representative God, the leader. Okay, Yahweh Shai, the head of the church, the head of the house. Okay, and that house is Israel. Bayath, Ba, house, Yah, hand or hold. Okay, the Tha, the covenant. All right, right here, you know. Ma. Allah. Yah. Where's Yah? Salakia. Right here. Salakia. Yeah. An arm. A closed hand. See? The house. Ba. All right. The house. All right. That holds. And then you got the Tha. The covenant. So within words, it speaks to something in the spirit. The house that holds the covenant is Israel. See, the Tha will be the covenant, the signature, the who the Lord signed off on the deal with. You know, that's the Lord's monument. That's why we're likening it to Zion. So the house that holds the covenant is Israel. All right, the head of that house, okay, starting in the heavens, is Yahweh Shai, his only begotten son. Okay? Now, let's go back here. It says, let's go here. This Aleph is on the Paleo-Hebrew script, the Paleo-Hebrew, Proto-Hebrew, or Old Hebrew, the writing system found in ancient inscriptions, biblical Israel and Judah. When you look at the map that Randy Sebi shared on Twitter, there is no doubt that it looks like an Aleph. Boom. So what does all of this mean? I'm not entirely sure, but let me share something else with you. If you do a Google search, when the new moon in Jerusalem will be on October 23rd, you will discover that it will be on October the 14th chapter. I mean, October the 14th. God damn. Because I'm trying to figure out what this. It says if you do a Google search, October the 14th chapter. God damn. We got to get out of here, man. Hold on. Let me get some water. That's what all these niggas need, water, man. And that, if you do a Google search for when the new moon in Jerusalem will be in October 23, 2023, you will discover that it will be on October the 14th. And this is the day when the annual solar eclipse will cross our country from Oregon to Texas. If you do a Google search on when the new moon in Jerusalem will be in April 2024, you will discover that it will be on April the 8th. Okay? So I thought that was interesting. This place is getting ready to be X'd out, you know, by a great earthquake, but we know that's coming by ultimately the missiles. All right? We read Isaiah, the 24th chapter, that the kings of the earth are going to be punished. The rulers of the earth on the earth are going to ultimately fall from their lofty position, fall from heaven, as it says. Heaven is could mean lofty. Before that, this is what the environment will be on the earth. Isaiah 24:19, the earth is utterly broken down, the earth is clean dissolved, the earth is moved exceedingly, the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. Babylon is going to be destroyed. That's associated with what? Let's read it in the NLT. It says, in that day the Lord will punish the gods in the heavens and the proud rulers of the nations on the earth. And Esau is ultimately, he set himself up as a god amongst the waters, the people. Okay? He sitteth upon many waters in a lofty position. That word Shemayim, heavens, can also mean lofty. And Esau is that lofty one. See? So the earth reeling to and fro is that earthquake. Okay? The earth reel it to and fro like a drunkard. See what that says in the NLT. The earth staggers like a drunk. It trembles like a tent in a storm. It falls and will not rise again. For the guilt of its rebellion is very heavy. Woo! Okay? And according to Jeremiah, a code name for Babylon the Great is Marathiam, which is double rebellion. Nimrod means rebellion. Okay? And America in itself means bitter. Okay? Which the Amar, all right, Amargo Vespucci, or if you look up the word amargo, I believe it's Latin. It means bitter. All right. Mar, like have nightmare, a night mare. Myrrh means bitter. Mary, all right, means bitter or rebellion. Miriam, when you look up Moses' sister, Mariam, all right. Let's get her name. It has mar in it, or marah, which it all goes back to the Hebrew. Okay, Mary, Miriam, Maria, it all means bitter or rebellion. America, it all speaks to America. Marayam, all right, rebellion. The root is Maria, rebellious. All right. And if you keep going, to be contentious, to be rebellious towards the Most High, disobedient, that's America in a nutshell. All right. But within the name America, it's Marah or Mur, which means bitter. See if the term bitter, if we can look it up. The word bitter. Boom. Marah. Bitterness, bitter. See, marar, to be bitter. So Marayam, or Mari, or Margo, or America, which America was named after Margo Vespucci. All right. Has been rebellious against the Most High, man. And because of that, the earth is going to reel to and fro because Babylon is going to be destroyed. That's why all of this war is being, prepared. That's why all these things are happening. So who knows after April 2024, if we're here, when that eclipse comes, that don't mean it's got to happen on that day. We're not saying this is a prophecy of saying in April 2024, we out of here. We hope we're out of here before then, but we know things got to happen. All right. But we know we're in those times. You see, again, we read Luke. Let's see here. And you could look it up how to say bitter in Latin. See, Luke 21. We read that it's going to be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars. Okay, and there's precepts to go with that. That's going into a different wisdom. Joel 2:30, I will show new wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood, fire, pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness. Boom. So you mean to tell me that what we're reading and going into has nothing to do with those eclipses? That's when the sun is turned to darkness and the moon, okay, into blood moons, and the great and terrible day of the Lord come. Okay? So this place is getting ready to be destroyed. That's what I get from it. Jeremiah 50:23, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder in Babylon broken? How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. Because of what? The pride of thine heart. A snare is being laid for you. These different nations are getting ready to come together and shoot missiles on this place. Thou art found and caught because thou hast striven against the Lord. And we just went into one little facet of how you strive against the Lord, with what you do to children. The Lord have opened his armory and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Most High in the land of the Chaldeans. You're the modern day Chaldeans. Again, the Bible is written in code for the spiritual men to break down. All right. Dr. Brown, a great, historical Jewish scholar, biblical scholar, says that this is talking about the Neo-Babylonian Empire. Jeremiah 50:29, call together the archers, the ones that shoot the arrows, the nations with the missiles, all ye that bend the bow, camp around about it, let none there escape. Recompense her according to her work, according to all she have done, do unto her, for she have been proud against the Lord and against the Holy One of Israel. That's tied to Esau. All right. The pride. Real quick. Obadiah verse 3. The pride of thine heart have deceived thee, thou that dwelleth in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high. All right. You were in those mountains. Okay. And now you're in a lofty position on the planet Earth. You went from caveman to ruler of the entire planet Earth. Okay. And you've built these great skyscrapers to remind you of those caves that you were in, all right, in the Caucasus Mountains. You've built this empire up off of the backs and the blood of the Israelites, man. And he said in his heart, who shall bring me down into the ground? Well, that's why the scriptures say, how art thou fallen from heaven? Let's get that real quick. That's been coming out a lot lately. Isaiah the 14th chapter. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? We just broke this down. Okay, falling from heaven doesn't mean you're literally kicked out of heaven. Again, heaven is Shemayim, which can be the heavens, the sky, the waters. The heavens are likened unto water. All right, but it could also mean to be lofty. You see, and Esau is in a lofty position in the earth. He has a lofty mindset. He is that Lucifer, the light bearer, the ruler on the earth, the king of Babylon. See? He says his habitation is high. He's in a lofty position. His head is reached into the heavens. Okay? Like Capernaum, it said, you should, you're in a lofty position and you proud against Yahweh Shai. Well, you're going to be brought down from your heaven into hell, meaning ultimately the Lord is getting ready to check this place, man. You devils are getting ready to lose. Saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle the eagle is the highest flying bird, and you have characteristics of an eagle, okay, in many ways, and that's the logo and bird that's tied to your beast system. Sure, other nations use the eagle, but you used the eagle. You ruled hardcore with that eagle. It's tied to you. Okay? And you have put yourself in a position through pseudoscience to be the highest flying species on earth. You're the greatest. You have the highest IQ. Okay? You're in your rulership. You hunt nations, you're swift, you're crazy. And the Hebrew word for eagle is nashar. I believe it's nashar. Yep. Kanashar or nashar. Eagle, vulture, Griffian vulture. So a large bird of prey, and that's you Edomites. The nations are prey to you. See? So this place is being prepared for destruction. And though thou set thy nest amongst the stars, from thence will I bring thee down. You're going to fight the Lord. Space stations, space force, space army. What is this dude doing? Anyway, you can check this video out on Brightian. That's the name of it. All I did was saw a brother, the link he posted. I just looked at it on my phone and typed it in on the internet, and it came right up. I typed this title in if I don't remember to load it into the comment section. But anyway, I think that's pretty much it. The bottom line is, man, this is heavy. The Lord is definitely doing something. We know if we're here in 2024, this earth is subject to be in a crazy situation, could be chaotic. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But Lord willing, you were edified. I know brothers are gonna. Some brothers may get on this, but if not, ultimately, brothers are doing videos on it already. So, hey, call hello Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the bishops, the elders at Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect. Shalom.